Next time, reach out to Life's Journey Counseling Services. They're located on Main Street, right in the middle of Jewett City, and they are accepting new patients right now. Individual, couples, family, and group counseling are all services available at Life's Journey Counseling Services in Jewett City. Find them online at lifesjourneyct.com and click on Book Appointment for information on how to start or to simply get questions answered. Life's Journey Counseling Services has multiple therapists on staff, so your questions, concerns, and counseling needs will be met. lifesjourneyct.com. It's the best place to start your personal journey to heal, become a better version of yourself, and strengthen your relationships. Life's Journey Counseling Services, 70 Main Street, here in Jewett City. lifesjourneyct.com.
Life is full of choices. At Jewett City Savings Bank, we can make one choice easy, finding the right checking account. We offer a range of affordable accounts to fit your budget and needs, and each gives you the freedom to access your money the way you want, online, through our mobile app, or with your debit card. It's your money and your choice. To learn more about the account that's right for you, stop by one of our offices or visit us at jcsbank.com. Jewett City Savings Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Did you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. It stinks. All right.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Live from Main Street, your community radio.
Mike Minarski and Rich Wasselick in the morning, and 80s all day and night.
SNSM.
I don't know how that happened. Here we go. What? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Wow.
Okay, so we're gonna see is how bad our microphones sound right off the bat.
Beep, 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 beep. 1, 2, 7, 7, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So because we're still working with this board here to see how good or bad it sounds.
Still working with the board. What kind of board are you working with?
I think that's one of those Freudian slips there. Boards.
It works. Look at that.
I heard you.
Board, B-O-A-R-D or B-O-R-E-D?
I don't know. You look kind of bored.
Not bored at all. Victoria says, sounds good this morning. Between the two of you complaining, you and Victoria, I don't know. I don't have a shot in hell.
She's already complaining?
No, she said sounds good this morning.
Oh, there you go.
Look at that, huh?
Ah.
Just because. Finally. So,
yes.
We have an exciting morning again. Yesterday was
it was a surprise.
It was a surprise.
Yeah, it was.
So the first select woman was out in the text me, hey, can I come in? Yeah, sure, of course.
Yep.
I mean, if we've got nothing else coming on, or going on, I told her, I said, yeah. Come in anytime. Yeah. She came in, and then we found out, a little bit about, the I don't know what you want to call it, the possible acquisition.
Well, I don't know if it's an acquisition.
Well, what would you call it?
Merger.
Is it a merger or is it an acquisition?
I think it's just I don't know. Call it what you want.
Okay.
We don't even know if the town's a municipality.
We don't.
I believe, because I listened yesterday, and I believe that any entity is a municipality. A town or a borough or a.
Well, that's the only thing I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
So we have Laurie Sorder here, who's the senior Burgess.
Yeah.
Good morning.
And we're waiting on Mr. Sharkey, who's the borough warden.
Yeah.
Come in, but we really aren't starting for a few minutes anyway.
Yeah.
Until
Well, there's another Facebook simulcast going on right now, you know.
No, I think it's done.
Is it done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't get a chance to see
I
it.
didn't.
I don't think any of us did. It's
it's too early for you.
For who?
You. Too early. Too early for you.
Why? What are you talking about?
You're not a morning man. You're a late morning man.
I don't know where he goes half the time with stuff.
Well, I will tell you this.
Oh, geez. You get smacked on both sides.
Okay, I will tell you this. I think and I don't mean any negativity here, but the older you get, the more early you get in the morning.
I'm
a 4:30 person.
Really?
Yeah.
I was up at 5:30.
Yeah.
See, now you know what's funny is that when I was in my 20s and 30s, you get me up early. I never would have been doing this in my 20s. I just would not be able to
Isn't that something?
pull myself out
Isn't
of
that
bed.
something?
But that's very true.
It is.
The earlier I get up earlier and earlier, I can't even sleep all night. I can't even sleep all night. I mean, sure, I gotta go to the bathroom or something like that.
That comes with age.
That comes with it too. Yeah.
But I think also it's just I don't know. I think it is age. I think you're right. And the other thing is that the older I get, the warmer I like it.
You are getting old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was
we'll buy you sweaters.
Pretty soon we'll be having dinner at 4:30.
Ma,
Yeah.
what time is it? We have had that. Where Melissa and I be in the car. And it's especially this time of year because it gets dark early, right?
Yeah.
So it's 6. What time is it? 6:30. I'm ready for bed.
Yeah, I know.
And she has an excuse because she has to be at work very early. She gets up at 4:50 and 4:30.
Well, you know, I will share a little story with you that I had a meeting last night, and my husband asked me, "What time is your meeting?" And I said 7:00. He goes, "Oh, that's late." And I said, "Yeah, it is."
Wow.
I think someone's coming down that aisle.
Okay, follow the voices. That's what I did.
I do that at home. People say I'm crazy. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Daryl from the Healthy Computer. School Street, Jewett City. Daryl knows viruses.
Yes, he does.
All right, so here's the first. Victoria says, since Paul bumped me this morning, I'm going to offer my opinion on yesterday's announcement.
Okay.
So I found the first select woman to be very condescending and cold. The fact that this was not discussed at the very least with the borough is just mind-boggling.
Oh.
So that is one. And, before we get into what your opinion, I think it's, probably apropos that we wait for Tim.
Absolutely.
But you and I, we talked about it, and we still even talked about it this morning.
Yep.
And I have questions, probably that would be even better suited for Dana Bennett. But, because all right, so we have two companies, right? Let's just say you have two companies, Company A and Company B.
Yep.
Company A manufactures a product. Company B, they have great distribution. Company A doesn't have great distribution. Company A may need Company B. So what do you have? You could possibly have a merger between the two companies because each, they complement each other, right?
Yeah.
They look at the financials and everything works, and now you have Company AB.
Yeah.
So there's that. There he is. Hey, Tim.
Morning, Tim.
Hey.
There he is.
We figured. No, we started yapping before you.
Okay.
So anyway, just to finish this thought, just from a, it's a very rough idea. So there has to be something in for Company A and Company B to want to go ahead and, commensurate their marriage. What happens? If it doesn't, why do it? So that's what I'm trying. I'm looking at it from like a business sense. Where's the business sense?
There really isn't. There really isn't any business between merging between both the borough and the town. But the question I asked this morning when I came in.
Let me introduce.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, first we have Tim Sharkey, who is the borough warden. You've been in borough government for quite some time. You've been a member of the well, actually, you were a police commissioner for a bit, correct?
Yeah.
And you were a member of the fire department for 150 years.
Yeah.
So welcome. And Laurie, who's the senior Burgess on the board of Warden and Burgesses. And how long you've had career in education and just an all-around nice gal in the borough.
Oh, thank you.
No, but what I mean, borough government, you've been in borough government for quite some time as well.
Right.
So the show that happened that we had yesterday certainly raised a lot of eyebrows, to say the least. And it also brought a lot of attention to you guys.
Yes.
So I know Paul he has a question that, he wants to ask right away.
Yeah. The question I want to ask is, how come out of the blue this came up?
Good question.
Yeah.
Who rattled somebody to get this thing put onto the selectman's office? Something had to happen. Because why would you even bring it up right now when there's other important things going on? Why did this happen? Why did this happen?
I don't know. And if it's okay to start like right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. This was on Monday night. We both are part of the ARPA subcommittee.
Yeah.
So we had an ARPA meeting scheduled
6 p.m.
at 6 p.m. Just by chance, and I do this all the time, I was reading the agendas of town meetings that were going to be held, and I saw on the it was Tuesday night. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Tuesday.
It was Tuesday night. And we still had the ARPA meeting, and I saw on the selectmen's agenda that there was an agenda item that said discussion and possible action of municipal merger. So I didn't know what that meant. And I called him and I said, do you know anything about that? And he said, no. And so I said, I think one of us should go. And we both agreed. And him being the warden should have been at the ARPA meeting. And I said, I'll go to the selectmen's meeting and just gather some information. I'm very glad I went because, when that agenda item came up, it was put out that the first selectman was looking for a motion to bring forward a request to the Connecticut General Assembly to enact legislation to merge the borough and the town into one town of Griswold. There was a question and answer kind of period between the selectmen. I will say that the second selectman asked about grant opportunities because the borough, correct. The borough has opportunities to apply for grants, and the town does. So he asked about grant opportunities and would those go away if we were.
I've heard that question a couple of times.
Right.
Actually,
if we were to consolidate, and the first selectman said that there used to be grant opportunities, but she believed that those were no longer a possibility, or that's my word, possibility.
Okay.
The grants would go away. We get.
I would think so.
Well,
the
and we
town
do.
gets CBDG. The borough gets CBDG. We just got 3 years ago, $1 million grant from CDBG to put the flood wall up.
Yeah.
Now
So-
the town at the same time was going for CDBG for, I believe it was McCluggage Manor
I
or
think
the
so.
senior center. So there's 2 grants. You're going to lose one.
You'd lose one.
LoSIP grants. The town gets
What's
it.
LoSIP?
You asked that question.
Local capital improvement projects.
Okay.
That's what put the monument up in Fanning Park.
Okay.
Right.
So you would lose that. The town gets it, but you're going to lose it.
Right.
OPM grants. That's what pays for our Nixle. That's almost $5,000 a
Right.
year.
Why don't you explain what Nixle is, so for people that don't know what Nixle is?
It's the Everbridge. It's the phone system that we use in emergencies, parking bans, that comes across text messages, landlines, emails. The town doesn't have that. The borough does. And we get a grant to pay for that. That would go away.
Right. So then, if I can just continue on.
Yeah, sure.
So during that question and
I just
answer.
want you to know, you have all the time you want.
Okay.
I told Mrs. Bennett, I said, you have all the time you want. I said, how much time you want? And we end up going about, I don't know, 45 minutes or so.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
but we kind of like own this. So we're not like no network saying we can't
Okay.
do what we don't want to do. So I just want you to know, don't edit yourself. If there's something you want to say, we can just fly with it.
Okay,
So.
thanks. So back to that meeting, that was one thing that was discussed very briefly about the grants. And Mr. Babbitt, who is the third selectman, asked several questions. Apparently there was a packet that was included as some kind of supporting documentation for this measure, to be put forth. One of them was they referred to an expense sheet. And I believe it was expenses that the town has incurred because of the borough.
Oh.
I believe that's what it is.
So that,
And
that's
Todd,
probably what sparked it.
Well, she
maybe,
talked
I don't
about
know.
that yesterday,
Right.
about like the borough not doesn't pay rent to the town.
Mike.
That's one of them.
Yeah, Mike, you're 100%
lights,
right.
copier, and that kind of stuff. These are items that she brought.
If you go back in the history of the town and the borough, though, back in 1961, it was a problem like this. Jewett City built a new fire station, and that was the borough offices. It was a fire department and the borough offices. Well, from what I was told from the old timers, in the late 60s, people were complaining. Why do I got to go to two places in this little community to pay my taxes or whatever else they have to do? So back then, the town administration and the borough administration got together. They said, well, borough taxpayers are town taxpayers. So just move in here. We're all one big happy family. And it was never a problem. It was never, Mike, you grew up. Yeah, Laurie grew up.
Yeah.
We never had this type of stuff going on.
It was together even when it was the town hall over on
School
School
Street.
Street.
Yeah.
They were together. It was
Yeah.
it was the same thing. That was a surprise to hear that was an issue. So Todd, in that meeting, Todd questioned some of the figures, but we haven't seen that packet. I did request it in public comment, and I was told that packet would be forwarded to us. However, we haven't received it. And, as I said to Tim, if we don't receive it by the end of the week, then we'll do a formal FOI, to get it. I mean, we can't do anything if we don't have information on what the issue is. So then it came down to a vote. Richard Matters went to make the motion, and Mrs. Bennett said the motion should be worded as such. And she said the wording. And Richard Matters and Mrs. Bennett, they voted in the affirmative to go forward. And
It was a 2-1 vote where Dana Bennett went ahead and she
Correct.
actually broke it.
Correct.
She broke the tie.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Todd voted against it. Todd did say that there were too many questions. There were too many unknowns, which, So,
if we consolidate, Mike, what's going to change?
I don't know.
Borough taxpayers won't have to pay a borough tax. We won't pay for our troopers, hydrants, lights, and stuff like that. The town will take that over. So the town's going to lose no matter what. The taxes are going to go up.
Well, see, now that's something you and I were talking about outside before we even walked in the building today. It was like, where's the value? Where's the value? And and I said to him, I said, you don't think those taxes are going to go away?
Of course not.
Do you? They're going to get absorbed into another entity.
Like the state troopers cost anywhere. Now that depends on the seniority of the trooper. Could be anywhere from $350,000 to $600,000 a year. So the town's going to absorb that.
And
the
we
fire
are
hydrants.
we're under contract with
Yeah.
them, so it can't be something, that happens just bang, bang,
Bang,
bang.
bang.
It's done,
Right. The hydrants is what, almost $200,000 a year, or $168,000 a year. That's going to be absorbed by the town. So what's the benefit?
That's like Carl was saying, if you have two businesses,
Yeah.
there's got to be some sort of, benefit to people of the town and the borough. And even just on the surface, I don't see it.
Yeah, see,
At
I'm
all.
not a resident of the borough, so my question is, how's it going to benefit me?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, if you go into this town and you drive
Your taxes are going to get jacked.
5 miles out, nobody knows who the hell the borough is.
Yeah.
Nobody knows Sharkey. Nobody knows you at all. So
Right.
who the hell is that?
right?
Right.
So,
It's mind-boggling. It was such a surprise,
Right.
and I was so grateful that I kind of,
Yeah.
we kind of picked up on it and went.
Right. I heard that, I guess yesterday, she said this has been going on for 30 years. Yeah, it was. But in 1995 or 96, we took a vote.
Yeah.
Back then.
It did.
It actually went to a vote in the town. 61 voted in favor here in the borough to 30 something to consolidate. The people in the borough, yeah. Over 400 and something people in the town. No, we don't want them. You know, you want to pay for a wastewater treatment plant that you're not using, and it's in the rears because it's non-profitable. You can't. It's what do they call it? A zero profit.
Right.
So they get a major break over there. I'm going to have to pay for it. You know, especially now with this economic development, with the sewer lines and everything else being.
yeah, I'm coming to think now that the reason why this came up is because of this expense sheet that came up.
There was an expense sheet. I don't
And
know.
think that
I don't know
might
what
be what
precipitated.
sparked it to say.
I don't know.
What are we doing?
Nip money?
Nip money. I was just going to go there.
Yeah, where's the dip money?
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's
I
talk
keep
about the
feeling
nip.
that.
Let's
Can we
have
save
let's
that one
talk
for a
about-
minute?
Absolutely.
Can we save that because there's a couple of questions.
Yes.
First one is, can you speak of the history of previous attempts to merge, which you just did?
Yes, yeah. In 1993 and 94, the borough went through receivership. They went broke.
Yeah.
And state came in. They got rid of the public works the borough had. They got rid of the police department. They brought in resident troopers, and they combined a lot.
The flagship.
And from what I remember and what I read, the plan was back then, the town was going to take over the wastewater treatment plant because they wanted to expand.
Mhm.
They went and they formed their own wastewater control authority. Is it Griswold's Wastewater Control Authority? They
Yeah,
have,
water pollution control.
yes, they formed that. And like every other time it's around here in the country, administrations changed. They went to a vote. The town people said no. The town walked away.
Yeah.
So we had a brand new wastewater treatment plant over there. Granted, the town put money in, the state put money in. Rob Simmons was the senator. He got over $5 million from the federal government. That was a $20 million investment over there. And the plans back then, like I said, administrations changed and it just went back.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Let's see. Here's a comment, and looks like there's a question at the end of it. What I am very curious to know is how the Board of Selectmen can decide to vote 2-1 to bring this to a general assembly without ever discussing it with the people that it directly affects.
Good question.
First.
I'm curious to know
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Did you have more comment on that?
Well, I can tell you this, that, I can't, we don't know much really, we feel
No, we weren't
that.
talked to. We don't know.
Right.
We're in the dark.
So what we have done
Bottom line is
is,
it went up on the agenda, and the borough had no notification
Nope.
whatsoever that this was going up. Is that
Nope.
correct?
correct.
And Ms. Bennett was in my office Friday in the town hall. We had a very good conversation. We talked about the expansion of the water lines on Aspenick Street and Hawkins Street. There was a couple of problems. We talked about that. It was a good conversation, and it was have a good weekend. See you next week. So,
Yeah.
And here we are again.
and here we are.
So-
again.
I
what
think
the borough
I think
is-
it's the spreadsheet with the cost. That's what brought it up.
Yeah, but
I think
you know,
that's what triggered it.
Is that really inconsequential, though? I'm looking at it just like, how much could that actually be?
Well, if you remember her comment, yesterday. Her comment was, my job is to make sure that the taxes in town stay pretty stable. And when she saw the expenditures coming from the borough, that's where she triggered this from.
There's nothing new
that's
on
my
there, though.
guess.
Right.
There's nothing new.
Right.
And, you
I
know,
don't even know what the costs are, but I
Right.
think that's what triggered it.
I can tell you this, when the town took over collecting taxes, when Skolchek was selectman, we used to do a yearly contract. They had a cost. They came to us. We agreed on the cost.
right.
We signed a contract. Well, when I got into office, Todd came to me, Todd Babbitt, when he was selectman. He says, hey, Tim, instead of doing this every year, why don't we do like a 3 or 4 year contract? He says, instead of signing a contract every year. I said, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Figures came. Okay. At the time, the election happened. Ms. Bennett took over. Contract came in. I signed it, turned it over. And next thing you know, came back to us. She's not signing it. It's not enough money. So I went and saw Eric. I said, Eric, is there a big difference? And oh, yeah. It's about maybe $1,000. Okay. So they redid the figures. We signed the contract.
Yeah.
You know, so I like to know. I can tell
never-
you this. The town covers the fire department's budget, operating budget. The borough covers the maintenance of that building. It's a borough building. We cover the maintenance. So whatever they give like to the fire department, that's what the fire department needs for operating. That was a deal that was done back during a receivership. We just didn't do this. This was what the state did back in 93, 94 when they came in and took over.
Let's see. I was late to the party yesterday. This is Daryl, and missed the answer to what would happen to the JCDPU. That's another question.
That's a good question.
Who owns it?
Who owns
first of
it?
all?
The ratepayers, the borough residents, ratepayers.
Okay, so that's what I had told you.
Yeah.
This is Paul and I having a conversation
Yep.
outside this morning.
So the ratepayers actually own it.
Yes.
Yes.
So what would happen if the borough was absorbed by the town as far as that is concerned?
That's the big question. Some say,
But-
well, the ratepayers could say, well, sell it, and then money comes back, whatever left to the ratepayers and stuff. That's what I was told in the past. How true it is, I don't know. Then it was one, they would form a commission or some type of where they would operate on their own. But the problem is, let's go back to the wastewater treatment plant. They're all close to $500,000 in arrear. They get a major break there. They don't have the money. You can't take money from the electrical side and put it into the wastewater treatment side.
Right.
So they have a major break. Who's going to pay for that?
I don't know about you, but I enjoy wonderful rates from the JCDP.
Well, that's the other
compared
thing.
to
That's the other thing, because
others.
if they have to sell it, who's going to buy it?
Eversource.
And absolutely. Absolutely.
And we will be fortunate to go ahead and pay them wonderful delivery fees.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
It's and you know, the other thing is this. I've heard that, you know, Mrs. Bennett's reply to that is there would be a utility district, you know, which would most likely be a district, I'm assuming a district comprised of people that utilize those utilities. But I cannot for the life of me believe that it's as simple as
Right.
that.
Right.
You know, it's just not as simple.
I don't believe that it is.
No. And so, you know, there's just so many. I have to take the words that I heard at the meeting. There's just too many unknowns. The most, the biggest unknown was the surprise that came to the borough. But there's just too many unknowns. And so what the borough is doing is we have called a special meeting of the borough, our board, for Monday. It will be posted. We just decided on a date that's good for everybody. And, you know, we're going to decide where to go from here. Obviously, it's going to, this whole scenario is going to cost some money because we're going to have to employ some legal stuff and go from here. But the one thing I will say, and I know that Tim, we both feel really, really strongly, the whole board does, is that we would never go forth with, yes, we're going to do it, or no, we're going to do it without taking that to the residents of the borough.
Well, that's the right way to do it.
That's
People
the
have a
right way to
say.
do it.
Well,
It ain't up to me and Laurie, the rest of the board.
No.
It's up to the residents.
it's even more than the borough residents. What's the impact going to be on the town residents?
Yeah, your
I
taxes.
mean,
gonna go
is it
up.
going to cost me more money
Correct.
to support
Correct.
the borough?
Correct.
I mean, I would want to know that.
Yeah, those taxes aren't going to go away, Paul. They're going to get
Oh, I
absorbed
know,
somewhere.
but I'm
Right.
saying I would want to know that. What the impact is going to be.
Let's see. One comment says, I couldn't believe that she, meaning Mrs. Bennett, brought up things like copy, paper, etc., such menial, picky things. Another commenter said, this affects everyone, not just borough residents.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Here's a question. Good morning. Would Warden Sharkey or Burgess Sorder be able to tell me what the line item in their budget, 10-3-13? Oh my goodness. I hope I'm reading this right. Town of Grit in the amount of $13,704.
I don't know what
Don't know.
that
I'd have
line
to see
item.
it.
Yeah,
I'd
we'd
have
have
to
to
see
see
it.
it.
I have to say it.
It's the reference number is 10-03-013.
Where's the reference number from?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Town of Griswold.
I don't know the town budget.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. It's in our budget. I think the person is asking, it's in our budget, but what does it refer to where it says Town of Griswold? I would suggest that, do we have a name there that,
Yeah.
you don't have to share it
Tell
now.
them to get in touch with you.
Well, it's
Okay.
on there, and the only reason why I didn't say a name is
Mhm.
because yesterday I didn't bring names.
Okay.
up.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, I know who did it. I know who wrote that. and
Okay.
everything, but
If you want, you have my cell number. Give them my cell phone number. They can
Okay.
call me or Laurie. And
Yeah.
we'll get the
We'll
answer
get that
for 'em.
answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah.
what that line item refers to without having
Yeah.
it in front of us.
you could actually, and Facebook is weird. You
I don't have Facebook, so
Well, on if you go on the SNSN news page, and if you're watching it from there, you have to click. It gives you a question at the top. Do you authorize your name to be broadcast over the entire? And if nobody clicks it or they don't see it, it just comes up Facebook user.
Yeah.
okay.
I've been
If you
guilty
go
of that.
if you go into SNSN news, that group, you'll see.
Okay.
Because it's in the group,
Okay.
but so it's weird.
Right. You know what? For our purposes right here, it's not relevant to us who the person is. It's
Correct.
just we want to get back
Yeah,
with
sure,
an
yeah.
answer,
Let's see here. Christina says, good morning. Hey, Christina.
Good morning.
And let's see. All right. When do you expect to get the resolution from the selectmen? By law, the borough has only 30 days to act, so I'm concerned that the longer the town takes to get the resolution to the borough to act, it puts us in a bad situation.
I think that we have to, we have to talk to the attorney.
Yeah, that's why
we don't even know the process yet, So, actually, some of our board members said, "Oh gosh, can we wait until after Christmas?"
And we
And
said
we
no.
know the urgency,
Yeah.
So we have to, we're going to do it as quickly as we can and find out what we need to do as quickly as we can. And that 30-day time frame, that caller referenced, will put us in a position to where we would have to call a meeting of the borough residents to find out what their desire is within that time frame, so we could respond.
And I think the 30 days comes after we receive
Right.
the letter in the mail or something like that. So
Of notification.
the notice,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
That hasn't even been said.
No.
And all it was a decision between three people.
Right.
It wasn't a decision
Right.
made by any of the town people.
Well, here's Daryl, because his name is out there.
Excuse me.
Says, okay, how would the decision be made for the merger? Would it be put to a Griswold vote and a JC vote to decide it?
I can tell you this, that unfortunately, we can't speak for how the town of Griswold would handle the town,
Right.
the town residents. But for the borough residents, we would usually all of our decisions, aside from budget and elections, are done through it's called a Freeman's meeting. And basically what that is a meeting of the borough residents. We would put out, a Nixle call saying that there's a meeting. We would do as much advertising as we could. Our job as the board is to gather as much information as we can so that we can present it and people can make educated, kind of decisions on what they would like. And basically what the Freeman or the residents decide, that would be our answer.
Well, I don't know. To me, I'm still confused by this whole thing. You go to a meeting, you talk about this, and people vote on it, and all of a sudden it's a resolution. You know what I'm saying?
2 out of 3s.
I mean,
it's like those little commercials. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend.
It's just people going to a meeting and say, yeah, okay, I'm going to go for it. And now all of a sudden it's a legal thing that's going to move forward.
Right.
I
It's
don't
going to
get
cost
it.
money now.
I don't get it.
It's going to cost money because lawyers are going to be
I mean,
involved.
there's no freaking way you're going to be able to put everything together to bring it before the borough people and the residents people to tell them what the impacts are.
Right.
It's going to take a lot of research to say, okay, this is what it's going to cost you. This is what's not going to cost you.
And this is what you're going to gain. This is what you're going to lose. There's a whole lot. I agree.
What happens with Jewett City DPC? All that stuff has to be answered before it goes before people.
I agree. If this had been handled differently, if there had been preliminary discussion, then things would have absolutely gone more smoothly, and there wouldn't be all of this hoopla, and where people are questioning. And we get it, we get it that people are saying, what's going to happen with the DPU and what's going to happen? I don't know, because we weren't part of it. We weren't privy to anything. So we will get that information out as we get it, but that's all we can promise.
One comment. I just want a new athletic field at the campus.
That's their fault because they're spending the money in the borough.
Let's see. With the way this was started, how does the Board of Selectmen think that anyone is going to play nice in the sandbox? This is like the Board of Selectmen walking onto the borough, onto the borough sandbox and throwing sand in their faces. No one likes to play with bullies. That is a comment this morning.
Thank you for the comment.
Another one, just a simple word: transparency.
Yeah,
we thrive on anybody can come ask us any question through the HOPA committee. Look at, we work very hard.
The one thing I must say about the borough is they're very transparent on explaining what's going on in the borough. You communicate out very well to the people in the borough.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's I read it, I see it. I mean, you do an excellent job with that.
That's really one of our most important goals to get that information out.
Really important.
As a business in Jewett City, is there any way I can help? Please let me know. I am sure other businesses would feel the same. That's Daryl from the Healthy Computer.
Yeah.
Scott Fryer says, let's settle it with a dance-off. If it was that easy.
It was that easy.
How about an air fryer?
Air fryer or Scott Fryer. The question is hostile takeover. I find it very upsetting that the Board of Selectmen made the resolution when the warden, Burgess's clerk, and treasurer were all in a different meeting upstairs that occurred at the same time. Seems like an underhanded tactic. Let's see. Cindy, the town wants some things, and they're trying to force us into a corner, meaning the borough and borough residents. She goes, that's how it feels.
We don't know the motivation. We don't know the motivation.
They haven't talked to us.
So, but we do want to talk about NIPS.
Yeah.
I was kind of saving that one. Let's do that. So let's talk about NIP money. What is NIP money? So people think, is NIP an acronym? No, it's just
Little nips. Little nips. And if you look at Paul, I don't think he's drinking a nip in there, but I don't know.
He might be. You never know. But you guys have the floor.
Okay.
What is nip money?
It's the state of Connecticut last year started a nickel deposit on the nip bottles. And when they collect that money, was it 10% goes back to the towns that have package stores. And that money is to be used for, I don't know, is it special projects?
It's for cleanup.
Yeah.
It's for environmental cleanup.
Right. Or for like parks, you could use it to put playground, new toys in, upkeep the playground. We were going to use it, some of it.
Our preliminary discussion, was we have, there is a gentleman resident that out of the goodness of his heart, without payment, cleans the borough streets.
Everybody sees him.
Everybody sees him.
Yes.
Al. And we wanted to be able to provide him with materials. We can't just blanketly hand over money,
Right.
but that we wanted to provide him with things, in gratitude. That was just one. That was just one of our considerations.
And the borough taxpayers, we do contribute to him now.
Oh, sure.
We give him
Excuse me.
$2,500 a year we put into an account for him to get food at Charlene.
See, now, I didn't know it was that much.
We just upped it this last budget cycle.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I knew it was something, but I didn't know it was anywhere near.
No, because I went and saw Susie, and we were just
At Charlene's.
at Charlene's,
Yeah.
and I asked, I says, how much money? She says, Tim, he hasn't, that money's gone. She says, he comes in and he eats. And she says, a lot of people contribute. They leave money for him and stuff. So she says, that's how we keep it going.
Yeah.
And back then we were given what, $400 or $500.
Yeah.
And so we decided, because he does so much. I
think it
I
came
know
out
for
to $200 a month.
that?
I think basically what we decided, was it $200
yeah,
a
something
month?
like that.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that to pay for his meals. Again, it's not a monetary payment for him.
We'd
But it
love to
is-
get him like a cot, because you see him carrying his tools.
Right.
We'd love to get him a cot.
He leaves them in various places.
Correct.
That's what I was
He's
told.
got his whole day planned out.
Correct.
And then, yes. So
Correct.
Yeah.
So let
So-
me discuss the question of the money. Is the money entirely go to the borough, or does it
No, the town.
split?
The town got it all.
Well, the town got it all.
Town got it all.
Yeah.
And when we looked into it, it came down to the reason why was they went by zip code. So that's what they said. But in the town of Griswold, there's 4 package stores. One of them is Jewett City Spirits.
Yep.
And from what we were told from the owner, that's the most busiest package store in the town.
Yeah.
And we went to...
it is a busy place.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Laurie and I, we went to a selectmen's meeting one night, and we asked them
for the
nip money, and they said, okay, they get back to us. And we waited about a month and a half, and finally, and I went to Mrs. Bennett. And she says, oh, no, that's our money. We need that for a street sweeper. And I says,
Street sweeper, a piece of mechanical
They're
equipment.
looking
Yeah.
for, they are
Yes.
looking for a seat sweeper.
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
so I said, but Dana, I says, that's our money. And she goes, no, it's our money. We need a street sweeper. And I said, well, we're not going to let this go. We're going to look into this further, which we did. We had a meeting with Senator Summers, and she looked into it, and she said it was a problem with the zip codes, and all that other stuff. So she told us what she could do under the next legislation session. She could put in a bill where no borough got the money. But in her research, she told us was most of the towns that got the money, if the boroughs asked them, they turned the money over.
Got it.
This didn't happen
Right.
here. So
And I will say this, there is a flaw in using the zip code, because if just think Lisbon has 06351 and they have a package store. So we've been told that Lisbon did get their money. I don't know how that distinction came into play, but there's a flaw there. So
That's a good
and
point.
I also and I also will say this, that we've been told that the street sweeper that the town currently has is in rough shape.
Yeah.
And honestly, if that was brought to our attention,
We would help.
we would have, we would have given that,
So it sounds like there's not a lot of
There
communication
isn't.
going on between
There
both
isn't.
parties,
no,
No,
which is not good.
no.
as
I don't know if it's both parties. I think it's both entities, both municipalities.
Same thing. But I
don't want anybody to think this is a Democrat Republican.
No, it's not. Not.
Oh no,
That's
no, not at all.
Gotta be careful these days. People freak out.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
I know one thing. I know that there was somebody was going to look into having zip code changed. You can get it changed. We could have a rolling zip code.
A Griswold,
Yeah.
and you know what? I mean, I would welcome that.
I wish they would do it because that would make a lot of this go away. Because you go on the street and all you hear is, how come I live in Bethel Road or Richardson Hill Road and my address is Jewett City? That's because the post office is in Jewett City.
The post
we didn't put it there. You know?
Right.
But there was talk about changing going for another zip code.
I wish they would. I really wish they would.
It was Ed. What's his name? Ed
Burke.
Burdick. Ed Burdick was looking into that.
Oh,
Burdick?
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is he?
I don't know.
Ed Burdick or Ed Burke?
No, Ed Burdick.
Burdick?
Was looking into a different zip code.
He's actually done a lot with the veterans. I think
I haven't seen him.
I heard he's very busy with the coffee shop, the
Veterans Coffee House, which is another really nice
thing.
It's a great thing. You know.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the NIP. So, about 2 days after, I advised Dana that we're going to look into this. She came in, she handed me a letter. And when I read the letter, it basically said in that letter, if we don't let the town have the NIP money, we are going to have to pay ourselves to have the streets cleaned. And I said, Dana, we're town taxpayers. Those are town roads. No. You're going to do this. You're going to have to clean your own streets.
It sounds to me like finances is coming between the town and the borough.
So I turn around and I said, okay, we'll look into this. So we do turn over every year $80,000 of town aid road money to help the town take care of the roads.
Yeah, they just did the study. So this year, I know. So this year, well, we got to keep that money. We can't turn it over because if we're going to have to clean the borough streets, we got to pay for that, and that's what that money's used for. So,
shots fired.
And this is, the first year that anything like that has ever happened. I will
We've
say,
never had a problem.
Never.
I've never heard of anything like this happening.
The previous administration, we used to meet with the selectmen quarterly. Was it quarterly?
For a while, me and him would meet once a month.
Right.
Then every quarterly, he would come and meet with the whole board.
Right. We'd have
We're
a
talking
meeting
about
to
Mr. Babbitt. Or
Even Skolchek. When Skolchek was in.
Yeah. We used to have those meetings so that there was, an open communication. That stopped with the, with the new administration.
Let's see. Comment. Something tells me that this is a one term for selectmen when this all gets out. Sounds like there needs to be regular. You just spoke to it. Sounds like there needs to be regular meetings between the Board of Selectmen and the Borough Board. And Daryl is all for a zip code change.
Mm-hmm.
Or should we just call it the NIP code?
There you go.
There you go.
This whole thing ain't
That's
going to
a good
happen.
one.
This whole thing ain't going to happen overnight.
No.
It's going to take
If
months.
it happens at all,
If
if
it
it happens at
exactly.
all.
It's
Right.
going to take months
Right.
to iron out all the
Right.
issues related to this.
Right. So that's why, you're exactly right, Paul. And that's why we kind of urge all of the residents and everybody listening to try to, we needed a day to actually sit down and exhale because it was like,
It was a
holy
shock.
moly,
Yeah.
So I kind of urge the residents to do the same thing. And, it's very, I know it's very hard to say, to trust what you call us being politicians.
What?
But, but,
Somebody get this.
I know. Have faith that, we will, on our end, keep everybody posted as things transpire. Always open to questions. I will post our agendas and our minutes, as I always do, on the Borough of Jewett City Facebook page. Please feel free to join that.
Yeah, I do say for people to look, because she does a great job on it.
I told you that too.
Definitely.
I do think. I think I told you that too.
Well,
you do a wonderful
and
job,
thank you, but I'm not going to take all the credit because everything that I go to write up, I'll always send it to him first and say, "Is this good? Are we good to go with that?" I would, we would never want to publish things that are not accurate, So we're gonna do our part, and whatever, if it comes down to where a decision has to be made, then the residents of the borough are going to make that decision, not us.
Well,
Yeah,
what do you got?
I still think it's more than the residents of the borough. The whole
No,
town.
no. I'm saying for the borough, the decision for the borough, then that will be made by the borough residents. Of course, I would agree that the town residents should have input, but with that being said, what just popped into my head is something that I really want to make clear here. There's always been this misconception about borough taxes and Griswold taxes. And I'm sure a lot of people know this already, but just so that everybody's clear on it, that every borough resident pays the same taxes that Griswold residents pay. So if I have 2 cars and a house, then I'm paying Griswold taxes on 2 cars and a house. I am also, as a borough resident, as are all borough residents, paying an additional borough tax. And that tax pays for, as Tim said, the resident state troopers, the hydrants, borough street lights. It pays for these additional things that cover this 1 square mile. That's the borough.
Right.
We want to keep it safe.
We're not getting nothing free. The borough residents pay for this stuff.
That's right. So I just want everybody to know that when they say, well, borough residents don't pay Griswold taxes. Oh yeah, we do.
They do.
And more.
Yeah.
So that's, I just wanted to get that out there. So
where's that money going to go? It's going to go away. If this was to happen,
it just means that the town is going to have to absorb
they're
that
going to
second
absorb it,
borough tax.
Right.
Because the residents aren't going to pay it. They're going to pay one tax, which means the residents' taxes are going to go up as a result.
Unless they, and there are some things that are finite and it can't go away, like the fire hydrants and the lights. Those don't go away. Right. The other thing are the troopers. If it were, and this is you got to in the way, or you have none.
Right. And they got to remember too, with the state of Connecticut, with public safety, with the state troopers,
Sergeant,
you get 2 of them at 85% discount. The third one you pay 100% for. The fourth one you pay 100% for. Then you have to have a sergeant with.
Oh, it's the fourth one, not the third.
No,
fourth. Yeah.
So 3 troopers and a sergeant.
Right.
4. Okay.
No.
4 troopers and
4 troopers, and then you have to pay for the sergeant.
Okay. Additional sergeant.
You can have 3 troopers with no sergeant, but that third trooper, you're paying 100% of his cost.
And that's not just salary.
No.
No.
That's their benefits. That's for their uniform, their fringe benefits. Car, you pay for the maintenance on the car. We've had to replace a light bar in the past. That was over $2,800, something like that. You got to pay for all that.
Has anyone seen the resolution document that was motioned to go to the legislature? Will the residents have any say in the process, which you've already spoken to?
Yeah.
We are all Griswold taxpayers.
Correct.
Do you really believe that there's a document that was created?
I don't know.
I don't know either. However, I will say this. When Mr. Matters went to go make the motion, Mrs. Bennett said, oh, it needs to be worded like this. Or, for the motion. So, there was something that was read that was the motion. So, I don't know. Again, we requested the packet. We haven't gotten it yet,
Yeah, I doubt at the time of that meeting there was an actual document that was created. How can you create a document to send it to legislatures if people don't even know about it? How can you do that?
I don't even know why we're talking about this, to be honest with you, personally, as just a
my
resident of the borough and the town. I don't even get this. This
my
is
opinion
why?
On this whole thing.
Are there not more important things going on in this world that we got to worry about this bullshit?
No. I think, this is my opinion, there was a ruffle of feathers when it comes to finance. You talked about the NIP fund.
Mhm.
You talked about other stuff. Those finances tipped off something in somebody's head that said, "Why are we doing this?" Said, "Okay, borough, we're going to see what we can do about
Yeah,
thing." I think that's the whole thing.
Hey,
behind
you
this
know,
thing.
you could be right.
you
Paul.
could be
That's
right.
what I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
You could be
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know, I wish
It's a
that
sad
that
thing,
could
though,
have
because
come.
now it's going to cost the taxpayers more money because attorneys going to get involved. And I know the borough attorney we have now gets paid $185 an hour.
What a sweet deal.
We went into the wrong profession.
I think so. I think so.
And I don't know how you can send something to legislatures without approval.
I don't know either.
I don't know how
That
you can
was
do that.
mentioned, you know,
How
in
can you do
that
that?
was mentioned in the selectmen's meeting. Somebody and I cannot remember who it was, but somebody asked if it has to go to a town meeting, and the first selectman said no, it doesn't.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, no. People have a vote.
You know, there was discussion in that meeting, and again, I don't have the packet.
Right.
I wish I did.
It's hard to speak to things that you haven't been able
Right.
to review yet.
Right, but the first selectman said there were 3 ways that they can accomplish this. Or no, I'm not going to put it that way. I'm going to say 3 ways that this could be accomplished. And she read the ways. One of them did involve residents. One of them involved petition of 10% of residents. And then another one was regarding the governing bodies. You know, I don't know.
But don't they? But if it does go to the Senate, there has to be a 2/3, doesn't it? A 2/3 vote to even put this through.
Right.
That's why I've got to talk to the attorneys because
I
somebody
can't
needs to-
believe that our 2 representatives, both our Congress representative and our Senate representative, is just going to take a piece of paper without any documentation to back it up and take it into the legislature. That ain't going to happen.
I can't believe
that ain't gonna happen.
That's crazy.
I
That's
can't
crazy.
believe
I wouldn't do it if I was one.
Especially without the voice of the people.
Exactly.
Right.
That ain't going to happen. So there's going to be a lot more that has to be done in order for this to happen.
And unfortunately, now that it's been brought out into the public light, you know, it's hard to now go back and try to have these conversations board to board because there's so much out there.
Right.
You know, now
The damage has been done.
The damage is done, and we're kind of forced to go legally now to find out how to protect our assets and our residents.
Exactly what will be the costs to the taxpayers for all of this? Legal fees, yada, yada,
Yet to
yada.
be determined.
So really, this is just going to cost everybody. We just give us a damn field. You know, it costs less than this is going to cost, for Christ's sakes.
Well, this is the money that we're going to use for the field is going to pay for this.
Oh no! Don't say that. Oh my gosh! Don't go there.
Now you did it, Paul.
This is all-
We put the field in, and we just put the town and have a little cross match. Winner takes all. It will be Griswold City.
Oh God!
That damn NIP money was going to pay for the field.
Yeah, the NIP money turned out to be. Oh my gosh!
People are going to drink more.
Come on down. Have Heather and Brian been involved in any discussions?
Don't know.
So, just in the issue of fairness, I guess just before we went on the air, the 4 of us with this program, I guess the first selectman did a Facebook Live. I did not get a chance to watch it or anything like that, so I don't know. I can't speak to any of the content. If anybody is going to say, "Hey, well, you know what? No, we didn't see it yet." I'm sure I'll watch it later.
As we will,
Yeah.
as we will.
Well, it's just unfortunate this happened because now instead of coming together as a group to discuss it, now you're butting heads.
Right.
Which is not good.
No, it's not.
Plus, it's the wrong time. It's just the wrong time. It's like going to a funeral and going, "Hey, Joe, going to your birthday later?" You know, it's just
Well, and you know what? Really, in all reality, this isn't the way things should work. You know, this isn't the way it should work. You know, we should all be, you know, I know maybe the bright light's going to go over on top of my head, but we should all, I mean, we really all should be working together for
and
the
in past
community.
administrations, we didn't see eye to eye, even with Todd. I've known Todd over 30-something years. And when me and him would get together, we'd had some good conversations, and we'd had conversations that weren't so good, and we'd walk away, but it never got nasty, you know.
What is it? Professional courtesy.
Yes.
I guess somebody watched it. Any comment on the Facebook Live from the First Selectman? I don't. That's probably not a fair question because at that point it's hearsay. We didn't get a chance.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, she probably went over what she was talking about here yesterday. Same thing.
Perhaps.
Probably just getting to another size audience.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, the other thing I wanted to mention was during some conversation, and I don't know if it was here or because lots is going through my head the past couple of days, but during one conversation, I heard that part of this proposal would be to alter the composition of the Board of Selectmen. And
that was talked about yesterday.
That was never mentioned in the meeting. Okay. Never. You know, there was no mention of that at all.
It was representation. It was expanding the board and representation the whole thing was
to
borough.
Expand the board to 5 or
correct.
7
A lot of that stuff I think she's brought back from, remember when they created the Borough Benefit Committee back, Ed Burke was the third selectman.
Yeah.
And that all was created, the borough didn't work with them. The reason why was because Ed Burke said we were a bunch of second-class citizens back then.
You had him on your show. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And he said that the borough was a black spot in the community.
Well, you know something?
That was difficult.
He was looking at it from a personal perspective. In his personal perspective,
he came on and apologized.
He came on here and he was talking about he was trying to sell his house. And when they found out he lived in Jewett City, that's what he was ticked off about.
Okay.
That's why he said that. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Remember he said that?
That was hard to hear though, as a as a borough resident.
Somebody told me that he said that Jewett City gives the town a bad name.
That's why he said
and they wondered why we didn't want to talk. Come on.
Yeah, that's why he said that. But it was wrong. He should have never said that.
I think I have that soundbite.
Oh, good. If you do, pull that one up. Because now we have.
In today's world, he wouldn't get away with it.
No, now we're able to sit and smile a little bit, but boy, not at the time.
Oh. See,
that was a difficult one to swallow.
Hold on, let me just type in.
So
because it's
they won't be able to hear it.
Yeah, no, my computer's just freaking out.
Okay.
It's basically because I was severely reprimanded at the Board of Selectmen meeting.
Guilty.
It was like who was it? It was me. Was it you?
Was it me?
May have been Al Gear or whatever, but we just looked at it like what?
Yeah, that was a public comment.
Yeah, that was something I shouldn't have been said.
Yeah.
But I know why he said it because I know he was trying to sell his house. Remember him coming back and telling me.
But boy, that's a personal thing for a third selectman to.
Because they told him where you live, Jewett City. Because Jewett City had a bad name for years.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he was coming
We're working, we've worked really hard to turn that around.
Yeah.
I'm going to find it. I'm going to send it to you guys, but it's hilarious. It's like, because we used it as a soundbite for a long time.
Long time.
Where it's just, it's working on something. We used it for a long time because every time somebody would screw up, if I would screw up in the show, we'd play that. I've been severely reprimanded. Oh, was that it? Oh, no, that's 43. No, that's it. Okay, that's something else. Well, it may be part of that, though, but it was hilarious.
It's gonna be interesting. And it's a rough time right now, right around the holidays.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Oh,
nobody wants to be doing anything.
No, I know. Like I said to you, some of the board members said, well, can we do this after Christmas?
Even the name of the committee, Borough Benefit. And I remember Jim Bonney was on that committee.
Yeah, he was.
I said, Jim, you want us to talk to you and stuff, and you slap us in the face, even with the name of the committee. And I guess Jim tried to have them change, but they wouldn't change the name of it.
I'm still looking for that damn thing. I am.
Well, the rest, all you can do is delay responding.
Well,
They can't go forward.
Well, we need to talk to our attorneys.
Yeah,
we have
the attorney's not going to look at this thing right now.
No,
they're not going to bother right now. They're going to wait till after the holidays. They ain't going to do anything. You know?
I'm just looking at my phone, and I have a text message that refers to the question that caller asked about the line item about the payment of $13,000 to the town of Griswold.
Okay. It sounds familiar.
It is what we pay to the town to collect taxes.
Okay.
For Leona to collect borough taxes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So that's basically the fee to get it done.
So
okay.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the question then.
But
I think that whoever the
I don't have
caller
to
was,
understand anything, but
the caller just wanted to know. My assumption is just wanted to know what that line item was for, and it's $13,000 to the town of Griswold to pay for tax collection in the borough.
Got it.
So just for clarification, the town and the borough have the same tax collector, and so we share that.
Basically, that more info will be made available soon, and nothing has been done yet. That's one comment.
Right.
Another one is when you have three options and choose the only one that negates the town people, it makes for nothing but anger.
True.
So this is I was asked when I walked into town hall the other night, Tuesday night, did you hear what happened? No. And I was told, I just went, I'm like, why now? Why now? In this, I don't.
Then you had to come sit with us.
I know. And they didn't know what to say. It's like
He didn't know.
No.
He didn't know that.
At that point, no.
No, I didn't know.
Because I came up from the meeting, and because there was discussion.
She stuck her head in the door, and she looked at me. Went,
I did.
And her face was as red as the S on your side. I had to have her sit down for a couple of minutes.
It was. I was worked up.
Well, I would think there would have to be a legal document that has to be sent to you.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that legal document's been prepared because it's got to be done by a lawyer.
No. And we don't know if there's a timeline. We've heard this 30 days thing. We don't know. So that's why we have to employ this attorney, to give us, unfortunately, we don't want to, but it is what it is.
Just as a borough resident and a town resident personally, and I don't try not to get too personal. Nothing's going to happen. I think this is going to be a whole bunch of hogwash.
Well, I think
for no result.
But it's going to cost money.
That's the thing. Yeah. So I don't understand why.
I'm telling you, I think it comes down to finances.
Okay.
It always comes down to money, doesn't it?
It's coming down to the finances based on our discussion, what we talked about, and the nips and the sweeper and all that stuff, looking for money. They saw the line item on the spreadsheets, and they're saying, okay, how can we make this money come back to the towns? They brought it up. This is how the whole thing started. I'm telling you, it's got to do with the finances.
But then the question is, okay, you get rid of the borough. Is that going to make that cost go away?
That's what I doubt it's not going to go away.
You're right.
But what I'm saying is that's what probably started this whole thing.
Just swapping dollars.
Well, yeah.
Well, and the other thing is too, we would like to see what this packet contains, and maybe come up with some kind of idea why this is happening now, like you said, Paul, and and look, we're not here to bash anybody, or we're just here to tell the story of what happened. express our
Yeah, go ahead.
disappointment in, not having involvement before it became a big public issue. Maybe we could have halted some panic. But it is what it is at this point, and we have to go forward.
And a lot of this goes back to the state with the receivership. Like the town hall where it is, that was the state receivership recommended it. That was the trust company.
Right.
And that's when they said the borough of Jewett City is the town's business district. The town hall should be in the middle of the business district, where that's what they did back then.
Jewett City Trust Company. What would Lenny Starver do?
Yeah.
What would Lenny do?
Yeah, he was the president, right?
Yeah.
So I will say this, that one of the issues was that we've never heard before, and I think we mentioned it previously, was that the borough doesn't pay rent. And I said to Tim, where is the town hall located? So it's
the
just
borough.
odd. Right.
Does the town hall pay borough taxes?
That's what I was just going to say. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why
So
we started to
we're paying-
giggle
we're
about
paying
it.
rent, They're going to pay taxes.
So just like you got a text, I just got a text.
Okay.
And it says, as far as I know, there was a document being signed. How legal it is another question.
Okay. Once again, another job for the attorney, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know where this legal document even goes. I don't know who it goes to or how the process works from here.
I mean, if there was a legal document, that means it was prepared long before this meeting. It had to have been prepared weeks ahead of time.
Yeah.
So this was under wraps for how long?
So here's a text message I missed from 37 minutes ago.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Somebody by the name of she's in my phone as Lorna. I don't know why. Her real name is Leona.
Oh boy.
Oh, hi, Leona.
And I only said that because she just made a very, general comment. The line item 103013 is the amount of money the borough pays to the town for the tax collector to collect borough taxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still don't know why I have her as Lorna in my phone. I have no idea.
I think you
I have
got
her as Lorna Sharkey. I don't know. I showed her that, which was why. I don't really know.
And I'm not going to fix it because it's there.
It's there now. I think I just misspelled it one day or spell check it.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Do you guys have any other comments or statements that you want to make regarding this situation?
No, I just want to really, really stress to people to please, don't panic and have faith that we will get you information as we get it. We'll post the agendas. Please join us. We'll do all we can to get the information.
Well, we'll say, the town and the borough, this is your platform. If you want to come in,
thank you,
and get things out, you're more than welcome.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, no,
appreciate
thank
it.
You, because I just think it's important, is it not?
It is.
It is.
Let's see, the comments keep coming in.
It's a hot topic.
Why were no borough residents informed of this meeting prior to this decision? I gotta find out.
If you find the answer to that, please let us know because we don't know either.
That one didn't show up. And Peppy says, thanks for your honesty and candor. So
we do our best to be transparent.
Absolutely.
So there we go. So yeah, just text me, call me, whatever. The town, they have the same option. I told Mrs. Bennett too. I said, you're more than welcome to come up because we want to be able to give a platform so people can go ahead and make their own decision, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
Right. So that's that. Anything else?
Nothing else except for have a great holiday.
Yeah,
We're all gonna
from the borough board to all the borough taxpayers. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. You got it.
And hopefully we'll have a happy New Year.
And a happy New Year.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think it will happen before next year.
I don't think anything's going to happen at all. So to be honest with you,
I mean, they still have to respond.
Right.
I know,
but
we got to be notified.
Yeah, but
I just think this is going to be a big situation. It's going to cost money. It's going to have no real means to it.
Yeah.
Then what about
Honestly.
the expenses then?
I know that. I thought about this all last night, because I pretty much had time to kind of just sit and reflect on this. I'm like, nothing's going to happen. I don't even know why we're concerned with it. And now, because of the process, you guys have to go into action. There are going to be costs that are going to be incurred. It's just going to be.
Yeah, it's too bad. It really is too bad.
All right.
All right. Thank you
Mr.
for having us.
Sharkey, Mrs. Sorder, thank you very much for coming on in today.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us. Have a good holiday.
Take care.
Thanks. So tomorrow we got Paul coming in as you'll be here again, right, Paul?
Yep.
Chris. And Chris will be here for Retiree Row right here on SNSN.
Yep.
See you later, everybody.
Life's been tough, and it's even tougher than ever to find a good therapist. But these days, all you hear is, sorry, we aren't accepting new patients. Next time, reach out to Life's Journey Counseling Services. They're located on Main Street, right in the middle of Jewett City, and they are accepting new patients right now. Individual, couples, family, and group